Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show. My name is Leon Jones. Tonight, I'm going to get more into the red pill. As you know, my channel is the 411 Talk Zone radio show, but my format is slowly changing more to the red pill and MGTOW format. It's changing that way because I see what's going on out in the real world when it comes to men and women. Now, this is not a slap against women, but the bottom line, women do get the benefits even when they don't deserve them. This third wave of feminism is more like misandry and Marxism. Now, again, I am not slapping women down, but one must tell the truth. And if you don't believe me, there have been several MGTOW channels that have been demonetized because of the content. Now, if you want equality, ladies, you must understand that equality works both ways. You cannot have the title without the responsibility. You cannot say it's all men's fault. Now, the reason why a number of men go MGTOW, it's because of the system. And the government is your best ally. In one area, I will say that is dangerous for most men is today's workplace. So the title of this video, I'm going to talk about why the modern workplace is the enemy of men, period. Now, basically, when it comes to MGTOW, MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way. The definition of MGTOW, it's an acronym, but the acronym, again, stands for Men Going Their Own Way. It's not a movement, but it is a philosophy that emphasizes masculine freedom above all else. Now, this was developed in response to feminism's increasing encroachment on all spheres of life, as well as the impotence of anti-feminist political movements such as the men's rights movement. Now, MGTOW is centrally about liberty. More specifically, men choosing to live their lives as they see fit instead of expecting to conform to feminist standards of thought and behavior. In other words, men do not want to live under the system of gynocracy or hypergamy and misandry. If you don't know what misandry is, it is the hatred of men. MGTOWs are also not misogynist. Now, you have some angry men who call themselves MGTOW, but they're not real MGTOWs. Real MGTOWs like Sandman, like Barbarossa, like Paul Elam, like Iman 67. There is BGS Ibmore. Shout out to also Black Ram 313. These are guys who have gone through some experiences in their lives, and they are going by a philosophy to keep them from stressing out. On average, when it comes to divorce, women initiate 75% of the divorces, which a lot of men have money taken away from them. They even have their kids taken away from them. And when it comes to employment, well, he doesn't slave away at a pointless job because society tells him to do so. He doesn't get married because anyone demands that he tie the knot. And he doesn't obey rules designed to keep him down. In short, he lives for himself, not his girlfriend, family, parents, or anyone else. Now, the question is, why the modern workplace is toxic for men? Why is the workplace toxic for men? Well, it's precisely because MGTOW places male freedom at the center of its precepts that it's a poor fit for most jobs and career fields. Of course, employment in the United States and most Western countries has become dominated by feminism and political correctness, turning the average workplace into a zone where masculinity is de facto banned. There are a couple of major reasons why the average career isn't for a MGTOW. Number one, we talk about the enforcement of conformity. Now, HR departments, sensitive training seminars, and PC code speech mean that if you express an opinion that doesn't toe the line of the feminist or leftist line, you will run the risk of being fired. Because it only takes one complaint from a female colleague falsely accusing you of harassment for your career to hit the wall. Meanwhile, you have women who call sexual harassment as well, and nothing happens to them. There is a double standard. And also, to make matters worse, you have to thank social media and the witch hunting culture that pervades major websites like BuzzFeed. Now, with BuzzFeed, you can easily find yourself blacklisted out of your career field entirely if a feminist typist deems your online presence to be racist, sexist, transphobic, or a million of other isms or phobias. Now, when it comes to jobs, you just heard a part about enforcement and conformity. What about jobs being dull and repetitive? Because most of us do jobs that involve a lot of repetition. Now, even if you successfully navigate the ever-changing morass of PC speech codes, your job will likely be boring, uninspiring, and offer you no freedom whatsoever. So a typical cubicle job where one innovation is actively stymied and going out of your way to excel will result in you being punished. Now, man basically craves adventure, excitement, and meaning in his craft, and a job where you do data entry for 8 hours in a sterile office is a recipe for ennui and depression. Now, the question is how to identify the best and worst jobs for MGTOWs. Now, there is good news that there are many lucrative careers where MGTOW can't only survive but thrive. But how can a man going his own way identify the best field for him? Well, the answer lies in an off-beaten path and oftentimes to complete the opposite of what society expects men to do for a living. Now, ideally, a MGTOW will want a career that affords him maximum freedom and accomplishment because he should have clearly defined tasks and goals given with a wide latitude with which to fulfill them. He should also be able to do daily tasks with a minimum of oversight and interference, allowing him to accomplish them through his own ingenuity and strength. Conversely, a bad job for a MGTOW is one that consigns him to repetitiveness, meaningless tasks, and it saddles him with inept management insistent on controlling his every thought and action. In other words, MGTOWs do not like micromanagement because you don't get anything done. He wants to use his own ingenuity. Now, when it comes to paths for MGTOWs, ideal career paths for MGTOWs are also those that have few women working in them, like trades. Where women go, political correctness, feminism, and drama follow. Because you have an office that's become less professional and more gossip-oriented. Because a MGTOW doesn't want to have to dedicate mental energy to obeying bizarre sensitivity mandates or dealing with the female inanity. He should either work alone or work with a team of men who are able to put aside their feelings to get the job done. In other words, the number of women involved in a job or career path is inversely correlated with how well a MGTOW will be able to perform it. Now, top tips to help MGTOWs get through the workday. Despite all this, it is not possible for a MGTOW to get his dream job. Some MGTOWs will have to suffer through soul-draining jobs where they have to hide their true feelings and thoughts from people around them. There are a few ways to help cope with these kinds of situations. Well, with anything, you got to have a mission. Now, this refers to having some sort of goal, skill, or hobby you can have outside of your job, one that requires you to hone in your talents and abilities like sailing, playing chess, working out at the gym, learning a foreign language are all examples of missions you can adopt. Now, having a goal outside your job will keep you focused and give you something to look forward to. And depending on what you choose, it can even provide a path to escape your current predicament. Always have a side hustle. That's right, always have a side hustle. Because being 100% depending on your job or dependent on your job is never a good thing, particularly in a volatile economy. So develop a side means by which you can earn money, even something as simple as affiliate marketing. On a blog, you write for fun, you can provide some income for yourself, and you can also turn side hustles into main jobs if you put forth the work and money into it. It's nothing wrong with a business. I have a side business on the side, and it keeps me fulfilled. Why? Well, you want to maintain your physical and mental well-being because it's easy to get lazy and give up on life when you hate your job. So fight it by eating right, keeping your body in good shape. You got to get enough sleep and cultivating your mind by reading good books. So if you put in just a little effort when it comes to your body and mind, you will find it easy to stand head and shoulders above most people who are content to let themselves go. Now, the worst jobs for MGTOW, and I'm going to tell you right now, office jobs. Because in any environment that involves working in the office, it's a bad option for MGTOWs, which includes most corporate jobs. These positions are the most heavily dominated by women, and as such are heavily permeated with social justice and feminist dogma. Assuming that you can untie the Gordian knot of PC platitudes that govern office work these days, your reward will be mind-numbing drudgery in which you sit in front of a computer most of the day, or you work with equally bored or depressed colleagues. Simply put, office work will kill a MGTOW's soul. Education. Now, education is an extremely poor option for MGTOWs due to, once again, the excessive presence of women. Both grade school and college education are dominated by left-wing feminist ideologues, and even if you enjoy working with and educating young people, you will consistently have to deal with the speech police. Now, moreover, in the case of college teaching, it's almost impossible to get a full-time tenured position due to a glut of professors who already have it, meaning you'll be stuck working as an adjunct professor and making peanuts. Now, I work in one of these jobs. It's civil service. It depends on where you go. In civil service, we talk about government jobs. But finally, MGTOWs should avoid the civil service not only due to the excessive presence of women in political correctness, but the repetitive and bland nature of the work. While civil service jobs pay more than private sector jobs in some areas of the U.S., they are excessively dominated by middle-aged, childless women who subscribe to the worst brands of social justice ideology. And to make matters worse, there's often not enough work to do at these jobs, with many employees loafing around on social media to lessen the boredom of their days. Now, the best jobs for MGTOWs. Now that I've identified the worst, here's what MGTOWs should do. Tradesmen. And I say the trades because the trades remain quite possibly the easiest and most lucrative path for any MGTOW. Working as a plumber or welder or electrician or in the construction or any trade that requires a minimum of time and money invested combined with high salaries and plenty of job opportunities. And due to a relative absence of women in these trades, there's very little in the way of political correctness and other nonsense that plagues most mainstream career fields. Now, look at trades as a good choice. Now, there are pros and cons to being a tradesman because the trades have been systematically denigrated for the past decades, which only benefits you. As part of the push to encourage all high school students to go to college, the trades have been vilified as being for losers and people not smart enough to earn a 4-year degree. Now, the push students to go to college has led a massive decrease in the number of men willing to enter the trades, which has led to a shortage of qualified tradesmen in many parts of the United States, pushing up salaries and creating many job opportunities. Now, tradesmen are able to earn more money than white-collar professionals easily. For example, the average electrician earns $18 to $25 per hour in the United States. Even introductory tradesmen, otherwise known as apprentices, can expect to make $12 to $15 an hour. Again, that's where you live. I know I live in the Chicago area, so the rates are more, and they have more unions, and they're paid at prevailing wage because they're construction trades. Now, of course, the greater experience does come to greater pay. In fact, it is not uncommon for electricians, welders, or other tradesmen to make more than 6 figures, because with a trade, you can get into your own business. But the cons of being a tradesman is you have to look at the market. If you're not physically in shape, you're going to get worn down. You also have to look at different areas of the United States. I know in construction, when it gets cold, construction stops. So you probably have to go to the Rust Belt states like Texas and Arizona. You have to look at unions. I know in Northwest Indiana, where I live, there are a lot of unions. But if you go into the Indianapolis area, there are no unions. But overall, when it comes to jobs, MGTOWs need to understand that if you work in an office environment, there's going to be a lot of political correctness. But if you work where there are not many women, you're going to have an easier time succeeding. Now, I work as an engineer in the field, and I manage highway construction projects. I don't see many women. And that's okay for me because as a man, I can actually be a man. Now, of course, when I go into the office, this is where you get all the high school gossip. Again, I'm not slapping women in the face. What I'm saying, I respect women. But you have to call a spade a spade. This country has gotten worse over the past 30 years with gynocentric issues that are going on. We live in a hypergamous culture. It's dangerous for men. And if you don't believe me, you look at the Time's Up movement, you look at the Me Too movement, no fault divorce, Title IX. Men don't want to get married. They want to opt out of the system. And this is why men choose to go their own way. But at the end of the day, it is men who make most of the money, while women benefit from the institutions of government because taxes go into the government for the government programs. Now, it is designed for men to get married by the government because, let's say if men don't get married, well, what's going to happen is that when women become 40, 50, 60, who's going to pay for all their benefits? The government. And if men are married to women and men die, women get the benefits. Now again, when it comes to living in a hypergamous or gynocentric society, men must keep themselves honest. And when I mean honest, they got to educate themselves on how to make it into the system. Because when we talk about equality, the system is not fair for the ones who actually build it. Men are builders. And at the end of the day, when it comes to the workplace, men have to be more careful in the workplace because their careers are always on the line. And if you don't believe me, you look at the Harvey Weinsteins and you look at other men. Now, some men have done it to themselves, but there are a number of hard-working men who've just gone out, done their everyday job, and their wives just sucked them into marriage, and then they left them, and the man had to basically pay for her lifestyle while he ends up broke. He ends up committing suicide. He may go to jail. The list goes on. So at the end of the day, until this system changes, you're going to see more men going MGTOW and red pill. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone Radio Show. If you like what you heard in tonight's video, please comment, share, and subscribe. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. I'm out.